The Houston Astros can't score anymore. And will Framber Valdez save them today, or is he on the verge of another meltdown? I'm Paul Gallant, and this is finally back, the Gallant Says podcast.
A radio show host in Seattle called Paul Gallant.
Paul Gallant's wondering the same things a lot of people wonder.
You are definitely living in the hindsight world today, Paul.
Do you feel there's been a consistent theme with the interceptions?
I think every interception really has a different story.
I was just kind of curious what Paul gets to see.
Are you kidding me? Paul Gallant, what the hell is wrong with you?
Hello and welcome aboard the Gallant Says podcast. It is Wednesday, August 20th, live on YouTube at Paul Gallant, on Twitch at Gallant Says, on X and Twitter at Gallant Says, and on Instagram at Sports Gallant. It'll be available after the fact wherever you get your podcasts, Apple, Spotify. If you haven't already, please subscribe, leave a rating, leave a review. If you're watching on the live side of things, if you want to cut me off mid-thought, super chat me on YouTube, and I'll play this.
Paul, stop talking. Listen.
That is former Houston Texan Wade Smith telling me to shut up once in the midst of a sports radio show on the Texans flagship. Whatever the case, I will eventually get to your comments. First up, El Mimo D on the gram. It feels like the 2024 Astros, but this time at the end of the year. Yeah, a little bit of a reversal. Beginning of the year last year for the Astros, an absolute mess. Of late for the Astros, it has been rough. They are in the midst of an all-time slump. They haven't scored in 28 straight innings. I mean, God, that's crazy. They've been shut out 4 times in the last 5 games. Plus, if we're going a week back, they also have a 14-1 loss on their hands. These last 3 games, they have struck out 35 times. And the cherry on top of this poo-poo platter, they lost last night's game to the Tigers by walking them off, courtesy of a walk, in extra innings. People are not handling it well. They are directing their anger in all sorts of directions, and I do think this is a perfect time to point to a great moment in movie history to describe the collective mindset of Astros everywhere. Leave it to Beavis and Butthead Does America to really just highlight the current sentiment of Astros fans.
Damn it, this always happens. I think I'm going to score and then I never score. It's not fair. I'm sick and tired of this. We're never going to score. It's just not going to happen.
They haven't scored in 28 straight innings. How is that possible? They won the AL West last year. And the year before that. They're still leading the American League West. How? How is any of this happening? On X, Ron Will 7 says 40 years, July of 1985. That was the last time they were shut out 3 straight games. The franchise record is 4 in 1963. I mean, feels possible today, doesn't it? Just a little bit. Ay, caramba. I was taking a look at some of the posts on X after last night's game. Some people are getting mad at Astros hitting coach Alex Centrone. Others are getting mad at Chandler Rome, who just covers the team for The Athletic. I saw Tyler Milner, who produces the afternoon show on the Texans flagship, with this beauty. It says, it gets a little mean, it gets a little personal. Maybe the least competitive looking pitch I've seen to end an Astros baseball game ever. From Wart's ogre-looking ass just now in Detroit. 3 walks in the 10th, 2 assists in the Tigers defeating your Astros. Amateur hour Little League BS. Hell, maybe a spot-in company should have been thinking about Jazz McCormick in relief tonight. That's right, he's pitched a couple of games in a row. Could it have gone worse? losing by walking in the game-winning run with the bases loaded is something else. What else do we have? Do you want to read the unhinged thoughts of @microphone Milo? I mean, if you're a sicko and enjoy Astros fan misery, this microphone Milo guy, he watches every single Astros game. It's not a tribute account to the late Milo Hamilton, who used to be the Astros radio guy. This guy just is very, very enthusiastic about his Houston Astros. Should we say that? Some would say unhinged. Some would debate putting him in a straitjacket based off of the things that he writes on social media. I'm just going to read some of the things that he said. This is wild. Quote, Wart is a massive fucking loser and walks in the winning run in extras. This team is mentally done. I've never seen a team be this mentally fucked. They've been shut out in 3 straight games. I mean, that part is pretty insane. Jesus Sanchez should just be released. He provides no value to our team, and it's quite clear why the Marlins unloaded him onto us. He is a very stupid baseball player. He had some adventures in the outfield and extra innings. 27 consecutive scoreless innings, he wrote before the Astros lost. The entire team has quit. Altuve looks mentally defeated. I wonder if the team is even embarrassed. I doubt it. They're okay as long as Seattle loses, which they did again tonight. That's been the culture of the team since 2023. Indifferent as long as Texas and Seattle lose too. More from this very aggressive Milo Hamilton's microphone account. Trust me, I'm not making this up. This is literally what he is saying. Sean Pendergast of the Texans flagship had posted, miraculously, the Astros maintain a 1.5 game lead on the Mariners. Who gives one single fuck? I'm so beyond tired of this. Oh, at least Seattle lost nonsense. But at least Seattle lost. At least Seattle lost. You gotta take the good where you can. That's what loser teams do. Oh, it's okay so long as our division opposites also suck. The Astros clubhouse is a breeding ground for complacency these days. I will be airing out the team tonight, continued Milo Hamilton's microphone. This guy should be hosting a sports talk show. He's probably not as entertaining as me, which is maybe, in the way of him potentially doing this someday. If you want to hear ice cream and soda pop fan bullshit about how at least Lance McCullers is pitching on Friday and how Jordan is magically going to save the season, go follow Schwab. Michael Schwab. Nobody should be sanitizing anything right now. I guess Joe Spada said after the game, we will score. We're a really good offensive team. Good teams go through stretches like this. No, Joe, they don't. Hasn't happened since 1985. Not even the 2013 team sucked like this. People will watch the team not score for 28 consecutive innings and be shut out in 4 of the last 5 games and be more upset at other fans for griping that the dog shit play on the field. I don't understand that. Ice cream and soda pop fans always do this. No, it's more. Listen, Milo. I mean, last night was awful. It was brutal. I mean, to lose, this is where Caleb Wart threw at the end of last night's game. Like, I understand why some people are frustrated. Do you see how far fucking outside these balls are? Like, I mean, Jesus. These are nowhere close to the strike zone. Those last 3 pitches that he threw. Like, I get it. From that perspective, I don't think I'd want to see Caleb Wart again either. However, listen, if a baseball game in August is getting you this worked up, like, you gotta not watch it. This isn't healthy for you. I am concerned for microphone Milo's health. I am concerned for his well-being. It's just baseball, man. It's just baseball. There's 162 of these. They are playing poorly. But to Joe Espada's point, well, I don't necessarily agree with the bats being awesome. Bats being really, really good. I mean, this is a team that ranks towards the bottom in terms of runs scored. And since the All-Star break, they've been one of the worst 5-6 teams offensively in the league, which is pretty crazy, considering this is a team that still leads the American League West some way, somehow. But you gotta get up and just walk away. Leave your things and walk away. Leave the Astros game at the door and walk away. It is one of those games where you're getting upset about a lot of the different things that happened. I mean, I've rewatched this highlight several times, and we're a little more sensitive to a play like this because when you haven't scored runs in 28 straight innings, it hits a little bit harder. This is a moment where it seems that the Astros scored a run, and after replay in New York, it was ruled an out after originally being called an out. You can watch this for yourself. Yainer Diaz is sliding. From that angle, he looks like he's out. From this angle, I'm watching it. Is his forearm as much of an outmaker as the glove? Because I thought you had to have the glove with the ball on the player. And, go back a little bit. Does he get his hip? It doesn't look like he did. So I can get people getting pissed off about a missed call like that. I mean, that ultimately could have decided the game for the Astros. And they reviewed that. And I don't know if you can come away from this with conclusive evidence, but it certainly does look like he made it in. And that this game should maybe never have gone to extra innings. But you only have that one angle. I suppose on this one, you maybe see it. No, you can't. So that's probably why they didn't give him the overturn. Inconclusive evidence. That's always frustrating, right? You got all these high-powered cameras, and the call in New York is as such. I think the Astros bats are better than what they're showing, but they have to hit. And I think blaming the hitting coaches is lame. I think blaming the manager is lame. It's on the players. And look, Tarek Skubal is the best pitcher in baseball, arguably. Maybe you like Paul Skeens more. He's definitely the best pitcher in the American League. There's a reason he's the reigning Cy Young Award winner, and we saw firsthand what Skubal can do against the Astros in the playoffs last year. I called for a dust busting of the Tigers, and then you see what happened. But this is an offense that, even without Yordan Alvarez, should at the very least be in the middle of the pack. Not one of the worst ones out there. It is the Gallant Says podcast. If you want to chat on the show, on YouTube, at Paul Gallant, on Twitch, at Gallant Says, on the Gram, at Sports Gallant, and on X, at Gallant Says. Andrew Ramirez says, Framber should be the 6th starter, Jason Alexander 2, Hunter Brown 1 for starting pitcher. Javier should be back to where he was originally, which was a reliever, not a starter. I think when we get closer to playoff time and when we get into the playoffs, I think the guys like Jason Alexander and some of the other arms that we have seen this year, like Brandon Walter, and who's out for the year probably, another Astros injury. What a surprise. And again, there's so many names that have been starting this year. One of them is eluding me. For some reason, I'm thinking Michael Bolton. I know it's not Michael Bolton. Colton Gordon. There we go. Like a lot of these guys, I think come playoff time, they're going to get batting practice treatment. Spencer Arrighetti honestly concerns me a little bit more than Christian Javier. That start that we saw earlier this week, not so good. El Mimo D comments on Instagram at Sports Gallant. The Mariners are slumping just as bad, and the Rangers are completely dead. I mean, that's the best part about all of this. But the problem is the Astros should be gaining ground. A couple of shows ago on the radio side of things, I said, hey, take a look at the Astros schedule. Take a look at the Mariners schedule. After this Astros-Tigers game this afternoon, the Astros get the Orioles and Rockies, and they should feast. And the Mariners still have some tough games. They play the Mets. They actually have it pretty difficult to wrap up the month of August. Today, on the hill for the Astros, Framber Valdez. And it's been interesting seeing the dialogue about Framber over the last couple of days. Because if you take a look at his last few starts, he's really struggled. I mean, take a look at what Framber's done the last 4 starts statistically. And even if you watch the game and think there are perhaps some reasons as to why he struggled the way that he did, I mean, oof. He is not looking like the ace that deserves a ton of money on the open market. He had a great start against the Nationals to wrap up July, 6 innings, 12 strikeouts. We'll get back to that in a moment. But against Boston, the Yankees, and Orioles in the month of August, he has a 5.89 ERA, 2 losses, and has allowed 12 earned runs in 18 and a third innings of work. It hasn't been good. And on top of that, there's been some defensive disasters along the way that really make you look at him and say, hey, man, where you at? He had a 1.74 ERA in June. He had a 2.16 ERA in July. What's going on? And I think making matters worse as we get closer and closer to the end of this year, and all of us are expecting that Framber Valdez is going to become a free agent and the Astros will not try to re-sign him. Some of the last interviews he's done in these 4 starts since July 28th have rubbed people the wrong way. So let's just go through some of the things that Framber has said over his last few starts. After his start against the Nationals, where he had the 12 strikeouts, he complained about outfield positioning. I think he was justified there, and I talked about that on the radio show. He was justified complaining about the outfield positioning. He had 12 strikeouts, and if there's an issue with your fielding and you give up runs because there's a dude who's playing for some reason way out of position and a double happens as a result of that and a run scores as a result of that, yeah, I'd be pissed off too. So I think he was justified after the game against the Nationals. But he did one of the things that I hate to see pitchers do. August 3rd, after his rough inning against the Red Sox, the 4th inning where a lot of runs were scored, he made an error, and he brought up how, yeah, there's a lot of luck for the Red Sox. And, okay, maybe there was a lot of luck. There were some infield singles and some defensive lapses. But you made one of those defensive lapses. Oh, it's just luck. I thought my stuff was good. Pitchers do that shit all the time. Drives me nuts. August 9th against the Yankees. He got touched up for 12 hits. 12 hard hit balls. It was like 12 of the hardest hit balls. It's the most hard hit balls he's given up all season long. He said, quote, things happen in baseball. He at least admitted he had 2 bad starts in a row. He was called for a pitch clock violation with a 3-2 count against Aaron Judge. It was my bad. Okay. He's fessing up to it, but he's also saying things happen in baseball. That kind of sounds like Bobby Slowick saying football is football. And then Friday against the Orioles, and not a lot of people have talked about this quote because it happened on Friday and there was an entire series to get to. It was almost like your Friday news dump. And on top of that, there is the language barrier between Framber and us. He is speaking through an interpreter. So I would say just from a literal perspective and from a cultural context perspective, from time to time, things are going to sound a little bit differently coming from a translator than the way that the actual guy speaking in Spanish intended. But this is the quote from Friday when, once again, he had a fielding disaster. He did not back up home plate. If you didn't see this on Friday, it looked like this. I'm showing the video right now where a ball is popped up to left field and Framber is just standing around in the middle of the infield. He doesn't go to back up the catcher. He runs up to the catcher. He's slow to get up there. He doesn't cover the plate. It was lazy looking, half-assed. No one really called him out. Here he is. He's just walking back up to the mound. Shit like this drives you crazy with Framber. He is defensively one of the worst pitchers I've ever seen. He's comically bad there. And so after that moment in time, Framber says, I felt like I should have been back there. I 100% blame myself for that. I feel like the game should have been. 2-0, but I can't control the fly balls that they hit. I can't control the throws. I can't control the other fundamental parts of baseball, perhaps implying that the Astros shouldn't be getting no hit by a guy with a 6.5 ERA. But I 100% blame myself for not being back there. And I think some people are looking at that and saying Framber Valdez is essentially pulling the same thing that Jazelle pulled after the Patriots lost their second Super Bowl to the New York Giants, where Wes Welker's wide open down the field, ball bounces off his hands, and the Giants end up winning. After that happened, Jazelle Bunchen basically said, my husband cannot throw the football and catch it. Which is true. I mean, Wes Welker did drop that. Just like Asante Samuel dropped the interception before David Tyrese catch it the Super Bowl before it. But, I mean, who's keeping track? You know, who's still bitter about that? No one that I know. But I get the jump to look at what Framber said right there and get mad about it and feel like he's throwing players under the bus. But while he has been outspoken and saying some interesting things over the last couple of starts, and generally baseball players and all athletes don't say that many interesting things, I don't know that he's throwing people under the bus the way that it's being implied. Like, I actually had to go back and look at this, and I mean, he sucked defensively there. But should the Astros be getting perfect gamed by some dude who went into Friday night for Baltimore with a 6.5 ERA? No. That shouldn't happen. And it did happen. So I understand his frustration, and I think some people see his contract as expiring, and you have bad memories about some of his meltdowns in the playoffs over the last couple of years, and you're thinking to yourself, fuck this guy. I'm already preparing myself for him to leave. And they're acting like Framber's poisoning the well along the way. And I don't think that's entirely a fair representation. He has not been himself over the last month, but he has also had pretty limited run support along the way. And I mean, if you're being honest out there, you would be pissed off about a lack of run support given this offense and some of the names that are in it, even if Yordan Alvarez isn't quite back. But I don't know. Instead of focusing on what he says after the game, maybe focus on what he's writing on X, because he has an X account now. Every day is a new opportunity to improve and get closer to your dreams. Don't give up. It's true. Just one small positive thought in the morning can change your whole day. God bless you. That is true as well. He wrote this in Spanish. Let's try to read this in Spanish first. Las cosas buenas llegan a quienes esperan, pero las cosas mejores llegan a quienes salen y a las buscan. I don't know if I said that right. Honestly, reading that too, Duolingo, not helping me out here. What does it say? Grok's translating stuff from Spanish to English. Good things come to those who wait, but the best thing comes to those who go out and seek them. Damn, dog. That's pretty deep. What else we got from Framber? Todo va a estar bien. Estamos activo. No existe nadie más victorioso que aquel que deja de ver a sí mismo y a sus habilidades para comenzar a ver a Dios y su poder. Well, that's, there's like some quote in the background there. Everything is going to be all right. We're active. Oh, is that all? SupFam218 says, not bad, Polly, on Instagram at SportsGalon. Thank you. I appreciate that. I honestly think it's pretty bad, but I took French in high school. What a waste. One last one from Framber. Life becomes beautiful when you decide to see it that way. Put love into what you do. Make it your priority. Believe blindly in your potential. Appreciate everything, even what you don't understand yet. Life changes for the better when you do. I mean, all these things he's saying, these are good. These are good. Sly27 says he sure wasn't seeking that ball that went behind the catcher. LOL. Sure. Listen, defensively, he's a fucking disaster. We can all agree on that. But I don't think he is poisoning the well, and I think we're a little more sensitive to it. I will say today, I'm a little bit nervous about the potential for a disaster inning, especially one that has a defensive lapse, because they're starting this game at noon. Doesn't seem to lend itself to like the best the best happenings for the Astros, and for a guy like Framber, who seems to be very OCD / superstitious, one or the other, very oriented, schedule oriented. I'm pretty nervous about today. But the main thing is the Astros got to score a fucking run. Like, for Christ's sake, man. 28 straight innings without a run, 4 shutouts in 5 games, 35 strikeouts the last 3. It's a long season. It's 162 games, and they do have a 1.5 game lead in the American League West. But Jesus, guys, I'm sorry to take the Lord's name in vain, but as someone who has been constantly saying God wills it on my radio show, talking about all the things the Astros have done this season, I'm going to need them to take care of business today. So on that note, we are going to wrap things up by doing something that I hope is going to give the Astros a little bit of wind in their sail in their afternoon game against the Tigers. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the Astros cocaine song. Why did they argue the umpire's call? Astros. Why did the fielders crash into walls? Why do you think the pitch is so slow? Why do you think they go for broke? Who says it's only a game? Why did the catchers wear iron masks? Astros. Why did they die for the dive on the glass? Astros. Why did they go head first into home? Who says it's only a game? When you wanted to give it all you got. The war's not over till the final shot. Hopefully runs. Who says it's only a game? Why do you think they call them spikes? Why do you think they call them strikes? Why do they give it more than they've got? Why do they always reach for the top? Who says it's only a game? With me now, Astros baseball. Who says it's only a game? There we go. Dr. Dre says we need Paul to hit a slump buster. Well, personally, doing okay on that front. Shout out to the girlfriend. Hey! So I don't really know what to do for the Astros here. I really don't. Like, all I can do is just play the cocaine song and continue to say God wills it and have unwavering faith and not be a fucking psychopath like at Milo's microphone, which is a hilarious follow if you just want to see an unhinged person. Like, if you look at him, just realize, okay, I could be this emotionally invested in an August baseball game. I get a kick out of it. I hope he never blocks me. I've been starting to fuck with him on X in the middle of the games. It's really funny how angry he gets. Andrew Ramirez says, Paul teaching us Spanish is awesome. I'm not teaching you shit, man. Grok is teaching me Spanish along the way. Framber's always been a consistent pitcher. He's great when he's great. When he's bad, the team folds deeply. Paul is our new Spanish teacher. Andrew Ramirez continues. What would I be? Senor Galante? Ron Will 7 on X says the best Astros song is the Altuve Polka from 2017. I haven't heard that one. We might have to play that the next time. So here's the deal. I haven't done this in a while. I apologize for it. I have been trying to get up super early to do it at maybe 6 a.m. That might be too early for me more than anyone. But I want to do it in a spot where I'm not competing against the morning show, John and Lance. Today was a bit of an exception because I had a TV spot down at with Fox 26 at the Black Walnut Cafe. I got up very early, got there. The interview did not exactly go the way that I was hoping for. Mainly that I wasn't the subject of the interview. Some other guy just kind of popped in and made it all about him. It was interesting. But generally, I want to do this at 6 in the morning on a daily basis. I'm curious as to what you guys think I should do. I don't want to do this at night because it sort of gets in the way of a couple of different things for me, but specifically me actually being able to watch the games. There might be a couple of times where I do it at night, but really more than anything, I'm just trying to do this on a regular basis. And I apologize not having done the live stream on my own channel. But you should check out today's radio show from noon to 3, ESPN 97.5. If you haven't subscribed to the ESPN Houston YouTube channel or ESPN 975 Twitch, you're missing out because it's the best way to watch that radio show is by watching it. Paul, you're talking about watching a radio show? Yeah, I am. Watch the radio show. You get to see me and all my facial gesticulations, which sometimes helps when you're trying to figure out whether or not I'm joking or being sarcastic, you know? If you ever have a question for the Gallant Says podcast, send me an email at gallantsays@gmail.com. I haven't logged into that email in quite some time, so we might have a bunch of questions. We are live on YouTube. Like this video and subscribe if you haven't. Twitch at Gallant Says. Give me a sub if you're more of a Twitcher. On X and Twitter at Gallant Says. And on Instagram at Sports Gallant. Follow me on both of those if you want to see written thoughts or, you know, the occasional me singing Jeremy Bernier. It's also usually on Facebook at Paul Gallant Sports. We had some Facebook issues this morning. We're trying to do it Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. Central Time, and occasionally after major Houston sporting events. It's also available after the fact wherever you get your podcasts. So if you haven't already, subscribe, rate, and review me on Apple and on Spotify. If you roast my ass in the ratings, I will read it. Anyway, appreciate y'all for tuning in. Until tomorrow at hopefully 6 a.m. Central Time, I am merely Paul Gallant. So long, farewell, and have yourselves a wonderful Wednesday. Peace!